Call your attention to the Open Meetings Act posted here in the council chambers. Now, you would please join me in rising for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please. Begin.
Granquist.
Here.
Arns.
Here.
Merrill.
Here.
Weeblehouse.
Here.
Murin.
Here.
Jackson. Clausen. Hildebrand.
Here. Okay, I do want to mention as a note that this meeting is accessible to the public by Zoom as well. And so if you are joining us via Zoom, some housekeeping items in terms of how to participate in discussion, if you so wish. Participants during the appropriate time will need to press *9 or on their phone to speak, or raise their hand on the Zoom function. With that, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. If no discussion.
I would like to make a little, do not want to remove any item. However, I would like a correction on the names. In the minutes, Jim Arns changed to Frank Arns, and Dick Hildebrand changed to Corey Hildebrand.
In the roll call section, I missed getting their names changed. So if we just have that motion to correct those minutes, I'll make that correction and we'll approve them as is.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with that change, and a second. Okay, with that, roll call, please.
Granquist.
Yes.
Arns.
Yes.
Merrill.
Yes.
Weeblehouse.
Yes.
Murin.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, I'm going to look for a motion to approve the full agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? If none, roll call, please.
Granquist.
Yes.
Arns.
Yes.
Merrill.
Yes.
Weeblehouse.
Yes.
Murin.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay. That takes us to item number 15 on your council agenda under public hearings and related action. And I will open this public hearing to consider the amendment to the redevelopment plan for the Fountain Point redevelopment area. And to kick off the discussion and give us some background on that, Randy Gates, our city finance officer, please.
Yes, Your Honor. This plan was originally approved on July 17th of 2017, and the redevelopers requested it be amended for the North Project site to reflect an approximately 8,428 square foot addition to the medical facility. This addition is expected to increase assessed valuation by almost $2.7 million, supporting additional tax increment financing of up to $479,000 to reimburse redevelopment costs incurred by the redeveloper. Redeveloper incurs substantial eligible expenditures in preparing the site for development, and these expenditures greatly exceeded the amount of TIF authorized for Phase 1. In addition to this, the redeveloper constructed 40th Street for improved traffic flow at a cost of $388,000, which was not anticipated until a later phase of the project. The agency accepted this amendment on December 7, 2020, and forwarded it to the Planning Commission. On December 8th, the Planning Commission held a hearing and reviewed the amendment as it pertains to the zoning code and comp plan. After the hearing, the Planning Commission voted 8-0 to recommend approval of the amendment. Community Development Agency approved Resolution 2020-25 on December 21, recommending approval of the amendment to the City Council. The amendment is included in the agenda packet, and I answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Any questions? This is a public hearing, so anyone wishing to make comment can do so now. Okay, does not appear that there's anyone in the queue on Zoom or on the phone either, so with that, I will close the hearing and move to item number 16, and would look for a motion to consider resolution number 2021-2, approving the amendment to the redevelopment plan for the Fountain Point redevelopment area.
Would offer for consideration resolution 2021-2.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this, council, or questions for Randy or other staff? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Grandquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Wiebelhaus,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Resolution 2021-2 is adopted.
Okay, that moves us to our regular agenda. Item number 17 would entertain a motion to consider approval of change order number 3F with Elkhorn Paving Construction Company Incorporated for the Concrete Improvements 2019-2 project, resulting in a net increase of $11,380.90.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, and for some background on this, we'll hear from one of our city engineers, either, John Cahill is here in place of Steve Ramus, our city engineer, who's also on the Zoom call. So go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mayor. Change order that you have in front of you tonight is regarding the concrete improvements work we did there on 34th Street and Rosh Drive. This would serve as a final balance of quantities on both of those projects. Reason for the extra there, we did have a few panels along the outside of the curb line that did get damaged during construction a little bit. As we were in there removing those, we tried to leave those in place, and we also had a bit of an add in there for some of the soil geogrid that we needed to put down. Some of that soil was pretty wet and damp as we got in there. So that's the nature of the change order. Close out that project. Sort of as a function of that project as well, we did have the city street department did the panel replacement down there on 25th Street. So that was separate from this contract, but kind of all three of those roads were part of that initial project. This is what we moved forward as a contract at that time. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on it.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Grandquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Wiebelhaus,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, item number 18, I would look for a motion to consider approval of ordinance number 5715, rescinding ordinance number 5669, creating sanitary sewer extension district number 253.
And I'll make a motion for consideration and approval of ordinance number 5715.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. And John, once again, can you give us some background on this, please?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Background here, just as a function of the development out there for this area of town, the developer came to us and requested that they desired to move forward and just install the water and the sewer both, kind of on their own, as opposed to running that through the district, just in the way that their development timing was working there. So because we had already went through the process to create that district, this item will rescind that because it's already, they desire to install that on their own. So, thank you.
John, is it, I guess, has this happened before? Have we ever had this? Or by them doing it themselves, they still have to meet a certain set of standards, correct?
Correct. Every development that goes in town does have to meet standard city specs, and that's something that we do require for our consulting community and our development community, regardless of whether it's a district or not. Because the city is ultimately the owner of that, we want to make sure that we're getting a good quality product there. So that doesn't change with this. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
And John, this would affect just that property developer then, and there's no other properties that would be impacted by this. Is that true?
Correct. Just inside this one subdivision. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, short title, please.
An ordinance of the City of Norfolk, Nebraska to rescind ordinance number 5669, creating sanitary sewer extension district number 253, as passed by the mayor and city council of the City of Norfolk on June 15th, 2020, to provide when this ordinance shall be in full force and effect, and to provide for the publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form.
Okay, roll call, please.
Grandquist?
Yes.
Arns?
Yes.
Merrill?
Yes.
Weeblehouse?
Yes.
Murin?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Ordinance 5715 carries on first reading.
Your Honor, I'd move to suspend the rules and pass the ordinance on second and third since there's no opposition.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to suspend the rules and approve on second and third readings. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Grandquist?
Yes.
Arns?
Yes.
Merrill?
Yes.
Weeblehouse?
Yes.
Murin?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Ordinance 5715 carries on second and third.
Okay, moves us to item number 19. Would look for a motion to consider approval of ordinance number 5716, rescinding ordinance number 5670, creating water extension district number 125.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for consideration of approval of ordinance number 5716.
Second?
Motion and second. And John, anything to add here?
I would say it's very similar to the previous item. Yeah.
Okay. Similar to last item, just talking about water extension district here as opposed to the sanitary sewer extension district. Any further discussion on this or questions, council? Okay, hearing none. Short title, please.
An ordinance of the City of Norfolk, Nebraska to rescind ordinance 5670, creating water extension district number 125, as passed by the mayor and city council of the City of Norfolk on June 15th, 2020, to provide when this ordinance shall be full force and effect, and to provide for the publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form.
Okay, roll call, please.
Grandquist?
Yes.
Arns?
Yes.
Merrill?
Yes.
Weeblehouse?
Yes.
Murin?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Ordinance 5716 carries on first reading.
Your Honor, I'd move we suspend the rules, pass ordinance number 5715 on second and third, just because of its simplicity.
I would second that.
Okay, motion and second to suspend the rules and approve on second and third readings. If no discussion, roll call, please.
Grandquist?
Yes.
Arns?
Yes.
Merrill?
Yes.
Weeblehouse?
Yes.
Murin?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Ordinance 5716 carries on second and third.
Okay, item 20. I would entertain a motion to consider approval of change order number 2F with Penroe Construction for the Brosh Avenue 5th to 1st Street project, resulting in a net decrease of $75,362.35.
Your Honor, I'd make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. And John, once again, can you give us some background on this, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. This is the final change order for the Brosh Avenue Reconstruction project. As you're probably aware, that project was finished up late last fall. You see a lot of items inside that change order. It's primarily a balance of all the quantities through there. Was a lot of quantities on the project to balance as we got through there. Primarily the two biggest items that are producing that deduct there are related to the dewatering. So as we got in there and did some of that storm sewer work, we noticed the groundwater wasn't quite as high as we had projected it, so we were able to save a lot of cost there. We also had a check valve for the storm sewer that was not installed, so those are kind of the two big ticket items that produced that large deduct there. The rest is all kind of balanced through, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you'd have on Brosh, so thank you.
Thank you, John. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Grandquist?
Yes.
Arns?
Yes.
Merrill?
Yes.
Weeblehouse?
Yes.
Murin?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, item 21. Look for a motion to consider approval of an engineering contract for construction design services with JEO Consulting Group Incorporated for the Norfolk East Drainage Evaluation Project for an amount not to exceed $37,657.90.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. And John, once again, please.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. This engineering agreement that you have before you is really an effort to kind of understand the drainage patterns in eastern Norfolk, primarily east of the flood control. As that area starts to develop and starts to have more things going on out there, our goal is to be ahead of that a little bit as far as how we understand water flowing out there and make sure that we can accurately plan for that in everything that we do as things start to happen. So it's a partnership with the NRD as well. We've kind of partnered with them moving forward on that agreement. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you'd have on that.
I just got one, John, and I don't know if Steve can hear me, maybe he knows, but are we talking the development where we have the city stormwater drainage area now, just south of the Blue Stem? And I guess what areas does this all entail, east of the flood control?
Sure. There is an exhibit provided in that agreement. It's basically everything east of that flood control would include that Blue Stem area. Basically everything in that drainage basin that would drain into that area down towards the south.
So east of Victory Road also?
Yes,
like,
east
right?
of Victory Road, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And John, maybe we'll talk about this in the next item, but is there a cost share with NRD on the contract agreement?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The NRD has proposed to cost share that at a 50-50% rate with the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Any other questions or discussion, council? Yeah, I think this makes sense and is a necessary investment, as you said, as the city continues to grow and develop in that area. Any other discussion, council? If none, roll call, please.
Grandquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Weeblehouse,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, item 22 would look for a motion to consider approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between the Lower Elkhorn Natural Resources District and the City of Norfolk for the East Drainage Evaluation Project.
I'd make that motion, Your Honor.
Second?
Motion and a second. And John, give us a little bit of background on this, please.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is just the agreement between the City of Norfolk and the NRD that would state that they would pay for half of that engineering design agreement with us. Yeah, I'd be happy to answer anything you have on that one.
Okay. And we've done such studies and partnerships with the NRD in the past, correct, John?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Any questions or discussion, council?
Will the city be the one managing the engineering firm?
Correct, yeah. The engineering agreement is between the city and JEO, so the NRD will compensate the city and the city will manage that project.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Grandquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Weeblehouse,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, item 23, I would look for a motion to consider approval of a solar energy option lease and easement agreement between South 49th 013445 SCS Norfolk LLC and the City of Norfolk for solar energy development.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Motion second, and John, can you give us some background on this, please?
Mayor, I'll handle this particular item.
Okay.
And if there's any other questions, the staff here can help answer any of those you might have. The agreement you have here for the solar, community solar project is related to that. In September, we did approve an agreement for community solar with Nebraska Public Power District. So this is the next step and one of the final steps that we have before we can start construction. This is an option and a land lease and an easement agreement to use city-owned land over by the West Water Treatment Plant. So this agreement essentially just sets out the terms under which they will utilize the land for construction, and then also operation as they move through their process to get this project completed. So I guess I would be happy to answer any questions. Our staff here can answer any technical questions you might have. Just for your background, the construction timeframe is one question that I suspect that we will get from yourselves in the community as well. The interconnect study is anticipated to be completed by February 1st. And then there's an interconnection agreement, which is expected to be finalized by March 1st. And a construction start date, as of right now, and again, these dates can change as we go forward, but this is the goal, is to start construction on March 31st. So that would start with grading and some site work that needs to be done. They would also get the equipment ordered that they're going to need to build the facility. And the mechanical component of that is expected to be completed by November 30th, with a operation by December 31st of this year. We hope that these timeframes will ultimately, when it's finished in operation, will be earlier than that. But we did give the entire year to get this completed. Again, we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Any questions?
Don't have any questions, Andy, but I'll just make a comment that I'm just very happy to see this moving along.
Andy, should this be then the last item we expect to see before the project's initiated?
I guess I can defer to our city attorney if she expects any other documents to come up. But to our knowledge, unless there is something that needs to come to the council to make some type of a change or a modification to the plan, this should be one of the last things that we'll have to do before the project will start.
Okay. Very good. And
There's nothing else
Nothing.
that I
Okay.
know of as of right now.
okay. All right. Well, I know it's been an extensive process to get this off the ground. As the councilman said, it'll be exciting to see it get started and initiated. And just as a brief public refresher, it's kind of a first of its kind project in the state in terms of the size of the solar array at 8.5 megawatts and it being tied to a battery energy storage system at 1.5 megawatts. And especially excited to be working with a Nebraska-based company as the solar operator and developer, and the pricing of which will make it possible potentially and theoretically to help lower people's energy bills by utilizing clean, locally generated energy. So yes, excited to get it off the ground and move forward here in the next few months. Any other discussion or questions about the lease agreement? Okay, hearing none and seeing no one online, roll call, please.
Franquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Weeblehouse,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative, motion carried.
Okay, last but not least, item 24. We look for a motion to consider city council approval of an agreement with Creative Sites LLC for the Skyview Park Replacement Playground Equipment Project in the amount of $245,996.
I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with Creative Sites LLC for Skyview Park replacement equipment.
Second?
Motion second, and Andy, background on this?
Sure, Mayor and Council. What you have before you is a proposal from Creative Sites LLC for replacement of the Skyview Park playground. The areas where you'll see changes taking place would be the middle ring and the ring just to the north of the middle ring, so the north two rings at Skyview. The current equipment has reached the end of its expected life. If there's any pieces in there, obviously, that we can save and relocate, we will do so. But we are looking at a complete replacement, including swing sets, play structures, 2 different play structures that will involve ages 2 to 5 and also 5 to 12 as part of this project. We're looking at getting this completed by May 1st with city staff, parks staff doing some of the prep work and some of the finishing work to the ground after construction is completed, with the Creative Sites contracted to actually install the equipment themselves. This is the same company that did Embrace Park, so they have been great to work with in the past, so we are looking forward to working with them again.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Any questions for Andy on that?
This is going in two-phase, correct?
This will include replacement of both of those. So the phasing of this, I don't know if they're having just two different pieces of it, but this is all expected to be completed by May 1st.
By May 1st, okay.
Yep.
Andy, it's probably, I suppose, kind of obvious, but this area will end up being shut down, fenced off, something like that, while construction's going on.
Yes, yep. There will, once this is approved and we get a little bit further down, we get some final concepts, we get some final drawings, we will use social media and the city's website to try to get information out to the public of when this will be closed down and make sure that it is safe and that people know to stay away during construction. Again, the timeframes that we're hoping to get in there will be, by the time the weather gets warm, we'll be all finished. But in the meantime, under construction, we'll make sure that it is secured and it is safe, and we'll keep people away from there and let the public know when this will be taking place and status updates along the way.
How
So
long
this
do you-
is, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. How long do you believe it'll take to put together a build?
Based on what we have, they expect to start possibly in March or early April and be done with construction by the end of April. And then the city crews will do some of the finishing work and put the surfacing down, doing some of the dirt work to try to get any grass repaired and patches repaired and seed down by May 1st.
One last one. The city crew removing the current,
That does include, yes, the city crews will remove the current equipment. And plans for that, it could be a number of things. If there's pieces that can be used elsewhere, at times we can partner with other communities that might be interested in keeping certain pieces of it. So those things we'll determine those and put them where they need to go.
excellent.
This is where is this by the main shelter then? That
Yes.
playground right there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Andy, I could be making a math mistake here, but it looks like, if I'm right, the figure we're quoting in tonight's agenda is $30 too high.
$30 too high?
$30.
Actually, the number we're approving is about $20,000 more, just over $20,000 more. There were some features that were added that we think would be complementary to the play structure.
Okay.
And so we are using, in addition to capital projects fund, we are using some funds from the existing parks budget to.
Would that be the 20,742 that's listed in there? Okay,
Correct.
great. Thank you. Gotta watch those $30, it's 35.
Just barely off.
So, yeah, Andy, budgeting for equipment upgrades like this is primarily coming out of the parks budget. That is there some in the capital improvement program
Yeah,
that
so
was used for this? Yeah.
Correct, Mayor. Each division has funds within their own, from their own budget that are part of the overall capital improvement plan. This is included in the Parks and Recreation Capital Improvement Plan, using a combination of just city Keno funds and general fund dollars, as well as council priority dollars to use towards this. So a combination of different funding sources. But yes, it does come out of the Parks and Recreation Capital Improvements budget.
Okay.
Andy, it appears that BCI Burke, though, gave us some considerable discount. By law.
Yes, we feel that we're getting a pretty good value for this project for the type of system that we're going to end up with.
Nearly 125,000 discount. That's pretty good.
I've had several citizens reach out to me to express their excitement about everything that we're doing over there. They're very happy to see this coming.
Yeah, also safe to say, and I think important to note, that this will not be simply an apples to apples replacement of what's there. There will be new modernized equipment and potentially some new features that I think will be exciting to see there.
Yep, and again, we will put out some teasers along the way to the public as we're putting this under construction, and also getting some final drawings and three-dimensional pictures out as we get closer to the time to get it put in.
Very good. Any other questions or comments, council? Okay. Seeing no one on Zoom or on the phone either. Hearing no other questions, roll call, please.
Grandquist,
Yes.
Arns,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Weeblehouse,
Yes.
Murin,
Yes.
Jackson, Hildebrand.
Yes.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, with that, that concludes this meeting of the Norfolk City Council. We are adjourned.